Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the International 4 European Qualifiers presented by Monster. It's time now for game number 2 of Virtus Pro versus Team Coast. Ben, they're one win away from a trip to Seattle. Do you think they can do it?
I thought Coast would have this 2-0 easily.
Oh, sorry, from the loser bracket finals.
Oh,
everyone's freaking out at me in production.
I thought Team Coast would have this easily, just judging by the performance overall in the group stages. And I mean, VP is just, I'm still baffled.
Big matches like this, to be fair, is where experience and just overall individual talent can really come into play. And end of the day, VP has a roster full of players that have either gone to TI or played at the absolute top level of European Dota fairly recently. So it's always been what Cinder was saying coming into the qualifier now looks possibly prophetic, though they haven't actually won yet. But that if they can ever put it together, they're one of the scariest teams in this qualifier.
Yeah.
That was only one game. You and I were just discussing, like, we're not quite ready to trust them yet, but if they can keep it up, if they play like this, I could see them even running the table and qualifying. It's one game, though. Can they do it for multiple? That's going to be the big question.
It was, like, pretty squeakily clean play.
Illidan stuck with his team. There was, like, one death where he just kind of ran in on his own, but that was impressive.
I like how active the supports were that game, though. A lot of time I see like NS and A just run around and doing nothing, and they lose very quickly when that happens. And I've used them not really as a comeback team either. So
yeah.
Once they secured an early lead, it's really the support play in the first 6 or 7 minutes, and that's kind of how this patch is.
I agree. Well, guys, with that being said, game number 2 is underway. Draft has begun. Let's get into it. VP, one win away from the lower bracket finals, not a trip to Seattle. 2 series away from that. And closing in on their first series victory here, it's, again, 2 support picks to open up this draft for VP. First overall pick goes the way of Coast. They go for Marana off the bat, and VP go Disruptor once again, and this time Ancient Apparition, they actually banned Tree. So, showing that hero continues to be just, I mean, I think he might be the highest valued support in Europe, period, right now.
He's really flexible, though, is I think the main thing about him. Anyways, Disruptor, first pick. VP really does prize the Disruptor, and the glimpses were really good last game, too. So they definitely utilize the hero well. So they have some very long-range spells here. Glimpse, AAA, Ultimate, Nature's Prophet, Ultimate, and Global Teleportation. So Team Coast, I think a lot of the time they were just caught off guard, too, by Nature's Prophet in the early game. He didn't really get too much out of bottom lane, but he moved around before level 6, too, with early phase boost and the Orb of Venom, and they were able to pick up so many kills and pressure so many towers on the back of that. So I think that Team Coast, yeah, they just underestimated a lot of the global potential from VP, and I think they may do so this game. And if they do, they're probably going to lose.
Well, in terms of other global heroes out there, not that you have to fully commit to it, but there's a Spectre. He's actually pretty scary with Chilling Touch. You just dagger them, and normally he doesn't hit that hard at the early levels, but you throw level 1 Chilling Touch on him, and along with Desolate, and you can quickly blow heroes up. So I wouldn't be shocked if Coast banned that here. It would make for a slightly weak tri-lane, fairly level-dependent. They do have Chilling Touch to kind of soften things up a bit for Coast if they try to go aggressive, but yeah, we'll see. That's an option for them. They could also look towards something like the Doombringer if they want a slightly more stable carry, and he can get a Shadow Blade. He can be kind of a global ganker, or just Blink, but yeah, we'll see. It's still pretty open-ended for VP how they want to approach this, and well, they'll stick with what's been working, which is fairly early to mid-game aggression now. They'll go for a Dragonite. They do scale pretty hard late in terms of the global presence, but no, now they've got some good push.
I think it's important that they are able to threaten towers early. Generally, if you don't have anything that threatens towers early and you get a few early game kills, they'll just play passively, defend, and wait for them to go on you. And with the incredible tower sieging ability that they have this game and last, then I can see them just like getting 2 or 3 kills and just start 5-manning. Team Coast, they had a 5-man like almost the whole entire latter half of the game, which is just didn't really play that well into their lineup. Invoker and Doom are by nature greedy heroes.
Their Exort Invoker going mid had to rush. He had first of all like an 11-12 minute Midas, and then had to go back for a mech. And you don't want to see that on your Exort Invoker going Midas first. You want the mech, Quaswex is generally going to be the way to go, and hopefully getting it a lot sooner than when he did. But Coast will now go for a Tidehunter, an offlaner who's had flashes of brilliance and then been ignored from game to game. And, well,
I don't really like Tidehunter here. I think he has a lot of weaknesses that are easily exploited by VP. Firstly, Anchor Smash versus 2 hero is not going to be terribly effective. Kraken Shell does nothing versus Disruption.
And Static Storm is the ultimate trump card to Tide.
Yeah, it destroys him, and DK's BKB hero, so he's gonna have it mostly by the time Tidehunter gets like a couple Ravages in, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like that strong of a pick, but it is what Team Coast.
It's also a Dire Tide, and
Dire Tide.
Dire Tide.
Give Dire Tide.
That was totally intentional, I swear. And he's up against Chilling Touch, which means that the tri-lane could actually zone him out pretty effectively.
And there's Nature's Prophet too, so they always have to be ready for the Nature's Prophet TPs.
Yeah, so we'll see how Coast look to lane this one. Last game they ran the Exhort Invoker mid, looking like it'll probably be an Invoker mid once again, and he'll have a slightly easier matchup here in the Dragon Knight. He's also less worried about getting ganked. So I think that's the main good news for Coast is the Enchantress Shadow Demon actually banned by VP, and VP not really very strong at roaming. They could go for it with Chilling Touch and Prophet, but they're more likely to be focused on getting their levels, which means Invoker will not have the miserable start he had in game number 1.
They still have potential to get kills, though. Like a glimpse into Dragon Tail. I saw that earlier from Alliance. It's not great. It's okay.
Oh boy. You mentioned global presence. Morphling not technically a global hero, but might as well be with the replicate. The sets up great for Ancient Apparition's ult with a shotgun later on in the game. And what do Coast have on a Morphling? They have Rubik to steal some good spells, but in terms of proper lockdown, there's basically nothing. You need a Hex on Invoker, and by that point, Morphling's likely to have 2-3 items at least, so I'm very worried for Coast.
Yeah, Invoker is really key for Coast here. If he gets underfarm as last game, then they're probably going to lose out in the middle late, like very easily too, and he's just going to be recovering and not really doing that much in team fights, so Coast really has to secure the early game for Invoker.
They go for the Chen, which we don't see too often against Ancient Apparition picks, is obviously none of your heals will work if you get hit by the ult. Does allow them to apply early pressure to towers before the Ancient Apparition comes online, and I will say VP not really the best at dealing with early pressure. They don't have that much counter push until Ancient Apparition gets his ult, until Prophet hits level 6. So maybe we see Coast roll up the tier 1, possibly tier 2 top in the first 8 minutes or so, but you go into the mid game and Chen could quickly become irrelevant. Also food for the shotgun.
Yeah, I think they probably wanted Ench, but Ench got banned out by VP, so
yeah. Ench feels like she'd be a lot scarier here, and
yeah. If Steph Style is much more comfortable on those jungle heroes, then I guess you can pick it. But yeah, Chen is not the ideal hero.
I think I saw he had a Wisp game earlier in the tournament, but we're not seeing that here. Already off the bat, VP dropping a very aggressive ward. We see a lot of teams doing this with Nature's Prophet. There was one game where Burning actually started with, I want to say 5 wards. Maybe it was 4. It was a set of sentries and a pair of observers, and he TP'd the enemy jungle, warded off 4 camps against a fairly greedy jungle lineup. But we'll just see the 1 observer ward to try and secure that Prophet's off-lane vision. And with that being said, we can introduce the teams. Now it's game 2 of a best-of-3. VP now 1 win away from a date with Roxkiss in the lower bracket finals. Winner of that match goes to Seattle, at least as the wild card, and also has a shot to beat Mouse in a best-of-5 in the grand finals, at which point they would qualify for the main event. Closing in on $7 million. Does it? It hasn't exceeded it yet, has it?
I don't believe so.
But it's slowed down a lot, the prize pool growth recently, but it's still ridiculous. Even if it stopped growing today.
Everyone got techies, so
everyone got techies, so they're done.
They're done. That's it.
Has anyone looked at the stretch goals? Like, are there any other mysterious gaps where it's like maybe there's another hidden goal here? I think that was the only one.
No idea.
Because there's just like this weird like $800,000 gap between stretch goals and. Well, with that being said, we'll introduce the teams now. VP on the Radiant side, leading 1-0. NS on that Disruptor. In the safe lane goes the Morphling, being handled, I believe, by Illidan. They're fighting over this rune early on, and Tide will get a double damage. G, as the solo mid Dragon Knight. Slightly tougher matchup from this game. Jottam playing that Ancient Apparition. Looks like they may use Chilling Touch to help secure his level 1 farm. They actually might go for a Smoke Gank.
I'm not really sure why they had this observer ward up here, because the way that VP approached last game, like, they put a lot of pressure on Invoker, right? So they're either gonna, they're probably gonna rotate from the safe lane because Disruptor aggro tries are very, very unusual. So they get the vision of the rune, but they will never have vision of the 2 supports. But anyways, well, so
seems like they're actually going bottom, which is not what I expected anyway.
Morphling actually picked that level 1 waveform instead of Morph, which is pretty unusual. But
it will help them get this kill though, potentially. In comes NS. They will deploy the Chilling Touch. They can glimpse him back, and they'll do it right now. Now Tide. Probably. No, he's going to run right through them. I guess the Anchor Smash off the Chilling Touch damage. Wave over the top. It is enough. VP, once again, get on the board first with a commanding first blood. And, well, I expected Coast to gank mid again, but Okay, they actually went the other way. So now we'll introduce Coast very quickly. Looks like they might go again on Solon. Solon is that offlane Tidehunter. NS, no glimpse for some time. So.
It might actually be a Quas Wex Invoker from E-Skills, so that would be much more difficult for them to gank. But I mean, he doesn't have Wex now,
That's
so
true.
we won't actually know.
Hasn't skilled anything yet. Just going for the early Cold Snap, which is pretty typical. And E-Skills on the Invoker. Steph Style on the Jungle Chen. Enchantress is other big hero so far this tournament. Frigo Elite playing the support Rubik in the safe lane, and that does leave 8 Mother, who's had some brilliant games earlier in the event, on the safe lane Mirana. I like that mount. Pretty nice.
Is that Andelmir?
Yeah. You're not a fan?
Andelmir's decent.
What's
Cool.
What's your favorite?
I think it's my favorite one. I don't actually know the names of the other ones.
I think that's the one I have. I can't remember.
Well,
I don't even pay attention to my own custom.
NS is trying to prevent Solon from
this
stacking
could be
the
a
camps.
kill. Does Solon have boots? Oh, Sunstrike's going to come in. It will connect on NS, so mystery solved. It isn't an Exhort Invoker in the end. Not Crosswax. Meanwhile, top lane, Arsart gets caught out. He gets Test of Faith down. Nice lift there by Frigo Elite to set up the stomp, and well, the Prophet trying to control the runes, but approached it from a fairly awkward angle down the river and pays with his life.
Yep.
Did they smoke for that? Did you see?
I don't actually know. I don't think so, since
They still have
has
one.
a smoke, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they started with 2. And already there are boots available for the Rubik. So off to a really good start. Breaking down these matchups a bit, generally we see Exhort Invokers have an edge for the Dragon versus Dragon Knight mid, and well, so far it's pretty even.
These supports on VP pretty greedy, not getting any Sentry Wards, and Titanhunter, he won't have an easy time on bottom, but he will be able to dodge a few of the ganks, especially until they pick up smokes again. I don't actually think they have any more smokes, so he can probably leech like a free level 4 until then, or waste the support's time.
Yeah, well, they didn't actually ward any camps, which is slightly unusual against a double greedy support draft. Normally you'll see at least some warding to try and slow down their levels, force them to buy sentries and delay their level progression, but this is where you're an offlane Tide, and against Chilling Touch, whenever Glimpse is online, you can't really enter the lane, Ben. If you do, you're at high risk of dying.
Yeah, looks like Nature's probably able to do the jungle a little bit too, so he's not suffering, I think, as badly as the Tidehunter.
Yeah, this low ground to high ground farming, very annoying to deal with, and maybe they can gank the Prophet.
There's smoke from Steph Style. He's level 4,
That's
so
a pretty bad ganking creep.
yeah. If he had Tornado, maybe then, but with just Forge Spirit, it's going to be very difficult on a Dragon Knight who has 1 point in Dragon's Blood and at full HP. But
You can feel it. It does feel like Steph Style thinks he has to do a lot this game. That's his second early rotation, and
he's camping 4-minute rune, and by the time 4-minute rune spawns, his smoke's going to be revealed. So
fortunately, it's a double damage rune top. There is Radiant Vision of this. I don't know if they actually saw it get picked up, and Arsart will get caught out now. Can Steph Style just run him down for a kill?
Oh!
Test of Faith, he's getting fogged. Arsart
fogged.
continues to retreat. Now summons the Treants, and
That was
that
close.
Fog of War.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So
was
close
close.
to the dodging, and looks like they'll pressure top now. But he already has a Treants out, so I think he can redirect creep aggro. But with the DD, maybe Steph Style can kill the creep before.
And they really want to prevent these Treants from getting in close to the towers. They Starstorm for them. It's not a very highly leveled Starstorm as of yet, and
He's just giving it up. Screw redirecting a creep or using glyph or anything. I'm surprised that they did not more of a defense.
yeah, at the very least, you'd expect it to be more aggressive with the Treants. Like, you lose them, whatever. Treants hardly give any money anyway.
Or XP.
Yeah, or you compare them to, like, say, Spider Lanes, and it's actually kind of ridiculous how little they give.
Well, Tidehunter only level 2 though. He's the big sufferer in this game, and it looks like VP trying to counter with a push of their own. But we see Potom TPing in.
No
Level 3
Moonlight
Starstorm.
No Moonlight Shadow yet, but it is the level 3 Starstorm you mentioned. There's also no Ravage here, and they'll bring in more. They'll bring in the Rubik. Does have his boots. I think he's level 4 at this point. Yeah, not the highest level. Arrow will fly. Connects on NS, but do you really want to engage onto this? They will with a Sunstrike, but they'll give up one immediately. The Mirana pays the price. Not the best trade, and if the tower falls here as well, then it really gets questionable. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. They'll run down Solon here. They've got a waveform available very soon. This could be a double kill for Illidan, waving over the top. One more right click for Frigo Elite, getting body blocked by Steph Stone. Nice Chen play. Still goes down from the high ground to low ground auto attack from Arsart. There is a slight trade as the Invoker pushes in the mid lane, but it's not a good one. VP take the tower. They have a very fat Morphling, 34 CS. If he wants some Midas, he's got to be getting close. And well, no, he's rushing the Lincolns, it looks like. Already the Ring of Health picked up.
So smart for G to rotate there too. If he wasn't there, that push would have gone actually pretty terribly, because we would have seen the support Disruptor die immediately, and they were able to just snipe the bottom with the Dragon Tail.
Yeah, that stun is definitely what got them the kill. There's no way they get it without
It
it.
set up the huge chain of events too, and they were in a really bad position. Illidan got a double waveform off too because they were trying to focus down the Disruptor, and everything just melted from there. So
And these supports are getting their levels up, Ben. Jottam is level 5.5 at 6.5 minutes on Ancient Apparition. The Disruptor's only level 4, but
that's really good as a Disruptor.
what's the Chen gonna be doing? Like, he can't really push against this.
Oh, nice glimpse.
These skills, back to the well. That's
Very nice.
generally
ward.
why you TP either behind the tower, or in some cases, if they're under it, like even to the tier 2.
No, that's
that
a lot of
hurts.
wasted time. That's a delayed Midas.
Yeah.
Chen was level 4 when he checked the 4-minute rune, so he was level 4 3 minutes ago, and now he just hit level 5. So.
With A getting his ult this quick, Chen could quickly become an irrelevant hero aside from the send back.
Yeah, I don't really think he did enough in the early game.
He tried to. He got the kill on the Prophet. I mean, he wanted to pressure.
He got a kill on the Prophet. He took down the top tower, but that's about it.
It's just
arrow coming out. Jo.
Where's
Okay.
the dodge? Just tanks him in the face. It is nighttime, so it doesn't have the best vision, but Ape Mother will just collect a free kill.
Okay.
He had some creeps there to give him vision.
Maybe-
I think he was just looking elsewhere, because that was otherwise a very slow reaction. Or non-reaction, I guess you would call it.
Easy kill.
Should have
Well-
been using that hero chase cam. Yeah.
He is level 6 now.
You'll never get surprised like that again. Well, for now, Illidan completes the treads, goes for the Perseverance. So, interesting not to see a Midas out of him. I feel like he could have gotten away from one. They've got such a strong lineup with these early support levels to defend towers. That
Yeah, it's good versus Chen too, and
Yeah.
they have way better late game. So
and just puts so much pressure on Coast, who have nothing on a farm Morphling later on. But he's still going to be pretty farm regardless. He is the leader in net worth by over 1,000 gold.
So it looks like Nature's Prophet is actually going to go for Midas. Maybe they just didn't want to get too greedy with the double Midas and potentially be punished. But they have enough levels under supports to defend off, I think, aggression from Team Coast for a long time. Solon trying to pick up his level 6 on Tao. He pings out. Looks like they may actually be trying to gank him with a Nature's Prophet TP.
The Ancient Apparition is level 6 before the off-lane tie. That is very scary. And even when he gets Ravage, supports getting early levels means that they're not super easy kills. Ravage actually does quite a bit of damage early on, but if the supports are getting fast levels, they get up the early bracers or mech, it's not as easy to burst them down. I feel like this is where Coast have a lot of pressure to get work done in the mid-game. Use Moonlight Shadow effectively, find some early Ravage, well, not even early, but find some Ravage opportunities, and if it's just a farming war, that's a game where you have to heavily favor VP or like once it gets
ult
past
coming
20
out on
minutes.
bottom lane. Ape Mother, if he stays too long, may take a spill, and
Well, back off, but when you're forced to back off your tier 2 this early on, you're already on the back foot by a lot.
yeah, Morphling is just free to siege it without any fear of retaliation from Team Coast, and not really sure what. Solon, he had like 1,100 gold. Wasn't sure whether he was rushing Blink or saving it for Arcanes, but he does have his Arcanes now.
What's their initiation now with no blink on him? It's just Moonlight Shadow, lift, arrow. It's kind
Forge.
of underwhelming.
Yeah, it really is. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like the Arcanes. Oh, wave in on arrow did connect on the Morphling bottom, but nothing to do. I feel like the Arcane rush on Tide is usually pretty underwhelming. They will glimpse back in E-skills as the Ancient Apparition ult flies in. He's been caught in the kinetic field here. There's no Static Storm just yet. Dragonite dropping low into the enemy tower. G turns around, gets off a stun, but will pay with his own life. By the way, they have already got a sentry mid, so they're prepared for this Moonlight Shadow. And they shouldn't get caught
That
by
was
it.
so aggressive with just 2 heroes there. They don't have that great initiate, but
If they had Static
4-on-2.
Storm, that's a kill. But without
Yeah.
it, it's like, why are you diving this? I'm not sure.
Well, they already have Treants there to fend off this push, and no Nature's Prophet ultimate yet.
Radiant's
But
middle tower
looks like
is under
Disruptor will pick
attack.
up some ease levels. They do have Glyph. I don't foresee this tower dying.
And the siege continues. Coast, they've got the double Centaur here. NS, no level 6. He's very close to it, though. I think 1-2 more creeps. Well, he is splitting the experience now with G, but we'll have it soon. They glimpse back in. The Chen, he gets caught inside the kinetic field. The Ancient Apparition, that's going to connect on 3. And that will, actually on 2, and that will force Coast to retreat immediately.
Nice glimpse from NS. I mean, they're just setting up so many kills with Disruptor. He finally will hit his level 6. G is going for a Shadow Blade Rush, so that's interesting.
I like this with the start they've had. You've got Prophet ult, Ancient Apparition ult. If you have a slow start on DK and Coast is 5 mana at you, I think you need the BKB. But when you're in the lead, like anybody who's on their own is food. And I don't think Coast are strong enough to 5-man. So what is Coast going to do? If they can't 5-man, they have to go split push. And that's where the Shadow Blade can just crush any of these heroes who get caught out. As I say that, Jotun will get caught top lane again. 8-Mother making plays for this team, and they need more of that from him because, frankly, he's the only one who can make plays right now.
I just don't really know what Jotun's doing out there by himself. He already got his level 6. Look how far away he is from any tower or any help at all. I mean, I understand that he wants to get his levels and be efficient, but I mean, he's just feeding 2 kills in a row to Mirana.
And he's a highly leveled support. You don't want to be giving those kills up. They offer a little bit extra to Coast.
Oh, mid tower looks like it's going to be undefended though. With a kill on top, with Illidan sieging bottom, they're just spread too thin.
It's basically indefensible because if someone TPs in, they just get glimpsed out, and if you TP the tier 2, it's too late. So, meanwhile, tower was denied by the Nature's Prophet, it looks like. So a double whammy of wins here for VP, getting a tower mid and denying their own tower. Well, in the end, they're on great shape. Lincoln is coming soon. And what do Coast do once this Morphling gets Lincolns? They can remove the Lincolns, but with like a Rubik spell steal into a lift or something, but they have no burst. They have nothing on a farm Morphling.
Yeah, maybe like a nice Ravage and Mirana combo, but that's a long shot. 8-Mother.
He's caught out by G here. Ancient Brishnalt's flying in, but I think it's going to be a bit too late. No, he gets glimpsed back in. Beautiful teamwork from VP. They are all on the same page today, and that is yet another kill.
Going
again
in for the Roche. Oh, no?
Who is this team, and what have you done with Virtus Throw?
I thought they were going in for the Roshan, but it looks like they're trying to wrap around and kill AA, or at least he just bottom tower. They don't have AA ultimate up for another 15 seconds. This could be a very small window for them to work with, but pretty much everything else is up.
They do have Ravage online. No Blink Dagger on Solon, but once he gets under tower, it is a little dangerous to defend. We'll see the Morphling still stick around. No Static Storm, no Ancient Apparition Ult. As you mentioned, Prophet Ult does cool down, and Ancient Apparition Ult is back up. Maybe they can defend. They'll throw in the ult. The Forward Spirit chilling behind the trees for now. They'll spot out the Morphling, but not going to do much that. And it's a lineup with a Chen and a Tide who's struggling to push. They try to go in on Illidan. He waves out, dodges that Centaur Stomp as Coast continue to chase. But it looks like Morphling won't be able to defend this alone. Do they send in any reinforcements? It seems like they won't. He'll get the tower deny right in their faces, just giggles to himself, and then waves away. That shows how hard it is to deal with the Morphling already. Like, they can't even do anything when he's denying a tower 1v5.
Rubik did spell steal Morph, so that's really good for him.
He actually already had it, so that was the re-steal. Not ideal. But yeah, getting it in the first place gives him a lot of extra HP.
So he skills already with the Midas up. Relatively late Midas, but he has actually a lot of gold. 2250 gold on him, so he's pretty much... he'll catch up to the Morphling, probably. Well, there's no reason to stop. DK does have his ultimate up, and he's actually pressuring top on his own, so I don't really think VP's looking to defend this.
They're going to play the split push game. And they trade towers decently with Dragonite Prophet, but Arrow will come in, narrowly off the mark on Illidan. He's actually going to wave forward. Goes for Stephstyle, who got caught by the ult, but he actually is forced to replicate out, and he's back to the well. He can TP in again. Coast, I don't know if they want to push this too much farther. Static Storm is online, and we could see a TP reaction soon. Looks like there won't be one. So despite the gold lead, it's Coast finally finding their footing here to apply some pressure, and it couldn't have come at a better time. But they got to do it soon, because as Basekip is pointing out there, once they get Aghanim Scepter, it is going to be much harder to execute this kind of push.
Do you ever have... Oh, John almost hits another arrow.
Sunstrike will come through. They've casually thrown out the Disruptor combo. Wants to go for the tower deny. Won't find it. Won't glimpse anyone back either. And now Coast go back in. They're going to give them the runaround, but don't find an opening to go in. Meanwhile, Dragonite swooping in from behind. In the Radiant jungle, there are a minefield of sentries here to catch him out, and he doesn't have ult. I don't know if this is going to work. He sends in some illusions, trying to bait out Coast. I'm not sure if they'll fall for this one. Mirana's hiding in the trees as well. And
he's free to go. They see a couple heroes TP back already, so if he sees anyone out alone, should be easy kill. Rubik doesn't actually have a TP scroll. I think he's going to get cut off.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Illidan is trying to make his own way out. He gets Sunstrike. What is he doing over there? Nearly falls. He does credit replicate. He goes down. Illidan, what is he doing? He's trying to 1v5. Maybe he's thinking they can get a kill with the Ancient Apparition, but he saw multiple heroes there and just stuck around way too long. And Rubik, it looks like in the end, did manage to TP out.
Well, this is more to VP that we know.
See, that's the kind of thing we were seeing out of Illidan when this team was struggling. So I still think they're in okay shape, but you can't be giving up kills like
Yeah,
that.
he was like 1,000 ahead in net worth of an Invoker. Now Invoker has leapfrogged him by 500 gold. So
that also
that
comes
cannot
on,
happen.
That also comes on the back of the towers they took. But yeah, it shouldn't be happening. They'll find Solon now top lane, and they do have the Disruptor here to glimpse Solon back if he goes for that TP out. He gets caught in the kinetic field. Now the Static Storm deployed, and he'll go down before the HF Rochelle even connects. But Tide bought his blink first, so very nicely done there by Solon.
Yeah, this is really scary for VP because they don't actually have any BKBs on anyone. And as we saw, Morphling can die if he's very careless, and he can probably die if he gets Blink Ravage very quickly. It looks like they're trying to group up. They can take out Roshan, I think, with the Necro 1 and the 4 Spirits. They have a strong enough lineup to do
It's actually a Necro 2 now, so it's getting scarier. The other thing is, I don't mind that play from Illidan if he at least has Lincolns. It's much harder to kill him at that point, but he was just like very close to it and decided to force fights beforehand. So, well, we'll see what the decision making is from here as they do pressure the bottom lane. Even if VP fall behind, they still have fantastic split push and great pick-off potential, and we'll see them try to take advantage of it now. G coming in with the Shadow Blade bottom lane. If he gets the stun off any skills, he is toast. And oh, he gets the stun off first, but he didn't get off that right click from the Shadow Blade. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get the kill. Now they'll leap forward. The arrow from 8 Mother slightly off the mark, but Tide will be in range. Sunstrike coming through. It will connect. And down goes Arsart. Meanwhile, mid lane, Morphling is split pushing. But VP starting to give up quite a few kills on cores as well.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they're giving Team Coast a little bit too much. They can easily just dodge around with Morphling because, as you said, he's extremely difficult to kill. And looks like Solon may actually catch out 2 here if he Blink Ravages. But
he's got the blink, he's got the Ravage, he lets it fly on 2, finds Jotum, arrow coming through. It won't actually connect on anything. Now Jotum turns around with the ult, hits a couple, but will go down. So it's a Ravage for a support Ancient Apparition. Frankly, not as good as VP were hoping for.
Yeah, looks like Dragon Knight is looking to go for a BKB before they actually start the real team fight. But Team Coast, they should take out Roshan at this point. They have the stronger lineup. They don't have any BKBs on the side of VP. CSC is actually really strong right now relative to VP, and I would actually say they're stronger despite the gold graph showing VP in the lead.
Yeah, and once the Dragon Knight does get a BKB, that's another item that it's like just as I feel Coast will struggle to deal with Morphling before they get a Hex on Invoker. I don't know what do they do when Dragon Knight BKBs, Ben? Like they pretty much have to run.
Yeah, maybe like focus down with 4 Spirits and Necro Books, but that's a losing proposition.
Well, VP now smoked up once again. They have the Shadow Blade online for G, and they're on the prowl, though. He is lacking his ultimate currently. Might be a game where Coast is forced to get an early gem, if they haven't already. As 8 Mother hides in the trees top lane, the Dragon Knight is descending on this lane, looking for the wraparound on 8 Mother. They'll try and isolate him. He gets glimpsed back into the Static Storm, then waved in on. There's no Ravage here, as the Tide Hunter makes the backstab attempt. G will get caught out now. Gushed as well. Ancient Apparition coming through. Connects on 3. Steph Style gonna fall. He shatters, and E-Skills could well be next. Illidan, though, will go down. I'm not sure if he was strength morphing there, but he died very quickly. The Necrobook doing some work against him. And in the end, a 2 for 2. They lost 2 cores, and they got a Mirana and a Chen. Another win for Coast.
Rubik's gonna global teleport in right in front of him.
Oh, the plays here. He'll zap him down. Frigo Elite showing off. And that's a level 4 teleport. He can do that. Well, easiest game to ward of your life now if you're Frigo Elite.
Morphling needs BKB. He should have played Grieger. I think like a Midas and a BKB would have been so much stronger.
I don't know why he didn't. He had no pressure bottom. They got a first blood. They got an early kill on the Tide, and it was already a tough lane for Tide. Like, I agree. Could have gone Midas, hasn't, and then on top of that, he just keeps on trying to fight. Like, he can just split push and farm, and Coast can hardly scratch him.
I don't really feel like Lincoln is terribly useful in this game either. Like, there's no, like, telekinesis doesn't do any damage, so I say the least of your worries when it comes to disables.
You have Gush, you have Rubik Spell Steal, a lot of spells to remove the Lincolns anyway.
The main thing that he needs to worry about is, like, burst during Ravage, or just tanking Necrobooks and not getting any more, not having any mana to do anything, which is what happened last fight. Well, or actually, he didn't even Ravage.
And now there's a Disruptor gem, so he'll pick one up to do with the Moonlight Shadow. Still, I don't think Coast have gotten one yet for the double Shadow Blade, but we may see one soon. They'll pop the Moonlight Shadow again. Unfortunately, it's right under a Radiant Observer Ward in the top lane, and looks like Illidan is going to play Keep Away. He does not actually have a teleport for 20 seconds or so. 25 to be exact. And they won't find him in the end, so I think if you're VP here, you don't have to take 5v5 fights. You just split push, farm your BKB, get an item on Morphling beyond the Lincolns, and then you go for those engagements.
Yeah, I think they should probably just let this tower fall. The only problem is they won't get anything in return, but that's better than losing 3 or 4 heroes to Ravage.
Well, they're going to push, and yeah, I think like you said, they kind of have to sack it. Illidan, I like this play from him. He's cutting the wave top, but it doesn't matter with the army of creeps already on the tower. They will lose a tier 2, though it somewhat protects the tier 3, I suppose. In comes the HF Brishnalt, brings the wave low, doesn't kill anything off, and now Coast will take the second to last outer tower of the game. That VP base is looking a little bit vulnerable, and there's still no Ags on the Ancient Apparition, nor is there a level 2 ultimate. Is VP playing too greedy? Are they going to get punished now? Coast breaking high ground. They've got a big creep wave here despite the wave cut. And the tower's just going to fall. They've given up a tier 3. They're getting nothing in return whatsoever. And they might actually lose a Rex. Where's the team? VP, you've almost lost your base already. 8 Mother caught out in the static storm kinetic field. Now Frigo Elite will get glimpsed back in, but Tide comes in. He ravages everyone. They're almost dead. They have not actually lost the Rex yet. HF Brishnalt will fly. It connects on 4. Actually make it 5. The stolen ult hits the Morphling though. That's another death for Illidan. They've lost a lane of Rax. VP with the triple buyback. All on core heroes as well. They better get a lot of return kills. Solon gets caught out right under the shadow of where the Rax once stood. He will fall. That's a Tide Hunter down in exchange for a triple buyback and a lane of Rax. Ben, this is why we weren't ready to bet the ranch on VP.
Yeah, I mean, double Shadow Blade against Necro 3 and Mass Push is just absolutely useless. So
the other thing is they just didn't show up. They were just like letting the base
They didn't have anything on AA and Nature's Prophet, so I can understand why those two didn't come. And Disruptor did what he could, but they can't fight. Like Morphling's not strong enough yet. He's actually really poor now.
He could be much stronger if he was just farming, had played greedier in the start, and wasn't like he just fed himself to 3 heroes in the dire jungle earlier. Completely avoidable deaths.
Yeah, I mean, he's number 4 in net worth now, which is actually very poor compared to Invoker. Invoker's 13,000 net worth, Morphling less than 9,000, so...
I still think, I want to say I think VP can still come back. They have the Ags on Ancient Apparition. It's almost a level 2
They just threw away such a big lead, though.
Yeah. No, it's obviously it's not a good position.
I mean, of course they can come back. They need to prevent Coast from doing Roshan, but I don't really see that happening with Ravage off cooldown. But they still have 60 seconds left until that's up. But, I mean, what are they supposed to do versus Mass Summon?
Well, meanwhile, they're going for Rosh number 2. And, by the way, the other big play in that fight was Frigo Elite stealing the HF Brishnalt. That secured the Morphling kill, forced out the buyback, and as you mentioned, he's now fallen down the net worth chart by quite a bit. E-Skills is up to 13,000 gold, excuse me. And I wonder what he's going for next. Probably Hex. In fact, he's almost got it. At which point, the Morphling is actually food. You can just Cold Snap, then Hex him. You've got the Rubik to remove his
That's why he needs
Lincolns.
BKB instead of Lincolns. He doesn't do any damage either. Not enough, rather.
Yeah. It certainly feels now like maybe he could have done more with the Lincolns in the laning stage or the mid game, but the way the game's developed, at this point, he's got to get a BKB and an Ethereal Blade before he's even a threat. Right now, he doesn't scare anyone. Rubik stole Morph. He's very tanky, and, well, at this point, Coast they've gotten their levels up, so they're in good position here. And we might see a Game 3 if they keep it up.
Yeah, I'm still not understanding why they went for these builds. The way that Team Coast played last game when they were behind is pretty much 5 man to take towers. So if you want to beat CST when they're in their defensive 5 man ball mode, you don't go for Shadow Blades. You go for 5 man items, or you go for super greedy items and just out farm CST while they try and move around the map very clunkily. So they didn't really approach it with any of those. They went for ganking, which is actually very terrible versus... Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh. Illidan, he's dropping pretty low here to that Ancient Apparition ult. Should be okay. But that's scary.
Ancient Apparition does have a Scepter, though, so that's really good for VP. And then actually to have a Scepter this early.
I agree. And he's got his... I believe he's got his level 2 ultimate now, is that correct? Yeah, he just got it, so... Easily their most important hero to turtle this game out and defend.
But Solon's fairly close to a Refresher. They have the Scythe up on Invoker, so you may have the Scepter on AA, but everything else is rolling in for Team Coast.
Do you think Refresher's the right item here? Is this a pipe game?
They don't have BKBs. Pipe is alright. I think someone else can pick it up, but...
Is anyone else close? I wonder if Chen's working towards one. He's pretty poor.
Refresher is just so scary, though. It kind of forces Morphling to get a BKB if he doesn't double Ravage, and he has to either go home or he's going to die. So he's not going to be able to do any damage in team fights.
Well, Coast Gaming, the darlings of a lot of the European Dota fans, are actually threatening to force a Game 3 here. They're going to break high ground. Start chipping away at the tower. Who am I kidding? Chip it away. It's nearly down now. The BKB will be deployed by Dragonite, but Solon still caught quite a few with the Ravage. Will gush down one, and They have lost their Aegis off the bat. It's not a bad engagement so far for Coast, though. I think they're not satisfied. Illidan dropping low. Remember, he bought back earlier. If he dies here, he won't have the buyback. Sunstrike is looking for him. Is it going to find him? No, he dodges away. And E-Skill's now the one who's trapped out. He's caught in that kinetic field. It could be a great turnaround. Indeed, that's an 1,100 bounty going the way of the Nature's Prophet. They'll glimpse back a second one. It's 8 Mother. He leaps out just in the nick of time. And it looks like they might make their escape, though. Illidan replicates forward, looking for Frigolite. Gets the vision for his team. The arrow hits G, but it's too late. He's already been stunned, and Frigolite will go down in the end. Almost bailed out his Rubik there, though.
That was a nice attempt by Coast. So they try to bait out, pot them, and blow all the cooldowns from VP and bait them into a position where a big Ravage would come. But G with a preemptive BKB, very smart there. That definitely saved them. If he didn't pop BKB there, I think they would have just straight up lost that fight.
I think they lose the game there because they had no buybacks on any cores. Yeah. And if they lose Dragonite, he's out of the fight. They lose Rax, and then you're down 2 lanes of Rax at 27 minutes. Very hard to come back at that point.
It was so important that he had his BKB for that fight too. Like,
yeah,
just buying the item. Morphlings.
Is that the Dire Gem that they took as well? I believe they had picked one up.
Tide was
Did Coast
carrying it.
Tide was not.
Tide was carrying it.
Okay, so they got. Oh, Tide's still holding on to it. Okay, so that was actually the gem that VP bought. So at least Coast hold on to that. They took down the tier 3 as well, and I wonder if they can just reset and go down mid again and just take a Rax.
They can easily. Why would a Sunstrike coming out of Roshan? Well,
that's just like instinct Sunstrike. I don't know. It's like, hey, Sunstrike's up. There's no one to shoot it at. Let's check Roche. But
they can wait for a refresher.
It's not ready yet.
Refresher on Tide plus next Aegis, and I think they can take down the Rax and pretty much seal the game from there. So VP, they're kind of under the gun to make things happen. Morphling's going to be big, but not big enough to deal with CFT's Death Ball.
The other thing that concerns me a bit for Coast is the Prophet getting BKB soon. He's already got a Maelstrom, I believe was the pickup. Yeah, Maelstrom Shadowblade. He actually hits fairly hard. And Coast have Necrobook as their physical damage, but that's it. If they can get triple BKB, maybe the Morphling gets the shotgun and then goes BKB. If they can hold out like 5 more minutes, 8 more minutes, I think that's the point where Coast are going to struggle.
But Coast does not want to wait any longer.
I like this. They should just be trying to win the game now before the next set of items come online.
Jottam has to hit a big AA ultimate too. If they somehow dodge it, then I think CSC just takes this easy Rax. They don't have that much firepower to deal with it, VP. Why is my phone keep...
Meanwhile, Ben's phone is, there's a strange woman's voice coming from his pocket. Hello, Siri. Welcome to the cast. No TriCast today, it seems, but... They'll push the lane into the base, then. It looks like they're a little tentative about making that next step and actually trying to go high ground. So, it seems Tide Refresher may be what they're waiting for. He's up to 2,800 gold. He's
Tide Refresher plus Aegis is the time to wait, I think.
So that would mean Cheese, Aegis, I believe, and a Refresher. Maybe Mirana gets one more damage item.
Have they taken down 2 Roches?
Oh, actually, her first 8 Mother has nothing. Wow, he's really poor. Is there an item on the courier for him? I don't think so. No, he's just poor.
They've just been 5-manning the whole time. So Invoker has a Midas, that's why he's fine, but everyone else is still pretty poor. 8 Mother takes the ultimate on top, but he will be okay. He's going to sit and fountain for a long time, though.
Sad times, though. He's got to go back to base. That creates a little more room for Illidan to try and farm his Ethereal Blade. Boy, he needs it. He's just been such a non-factor this game, you gotta say. Not, like, even if he wasn't dying, he's not really taking towers, he's not threatening kills. It's 30 minutes. Normally you have your shotgun online by this point.
Yeah, not terribly scary. I think maybe just going for something like a Doom would have been really good for them. But like, he doesn't seem to do well on the super passive farming heroes because he just wants to fight. He wants to kill people.
He's got the bloodlust. He'd make a great orc player in Warcraft. Well, VP still farming out their jungle and just, I guess at this point, just pleading with Illidan to just come online. Find that farm. Don't get picked off. They do have some buybacks available. That's the other issue for Coast is if they try to go high ground again, they are now fighting into 2, 3, maybe 4 buybacks, depending if VP decide to spend their gold or not. In fact, right now they've got 4, so that is a slight concern for them.
Well, VP, they're praying for a 3-minute Roshan respawn at this point. The longer the game goes, the better for them in terms of passive stalemate farming.
It's funny how Dota comes down to praying to the gods nowadays for the Roche timer, you know? It's like you win a huge team fight, and you're the team that lost, you're like, God, I hope Roche isn't respawning right now. I hope it's the 11-minute Roche.
Oh, that's a fast refresher. So they're smoking a little bit before the Roche timer, which is pretty typical. Usually people wait until 8, but it's about 7:30 now, it looks like. And VP, I don't think they're going to be around that pit. That's way too scary of a place to fight. Dragon Knight does have a gem, but if he doesn't pop his BKB, he's dead meat.
Well, and with the Hex, it's actually fairly possible to pick him off. It's a legitimate concern. They will group up mid. They're smoked, and they're showing the Mirana here. Nobody defending bottom lane, just creeps there, and only creeps top. So, a fairly
if Chen's there, the whole
predictable
team's there.
gank.
Yeah, there's no way that the team's not sitting behind the Chen.
I don't know, Ben. You're not showing Steph Style the respect he deserves, I feel. I carry Chen, man.
Well, here they go. Moonlight Shadow pop, Necro 3. They want to get this Rax.
But working some D-warding on the high ground. The Sentry Ward was dropped, and, well, it's not going to be relevant in this fight, as they make a copy of the Dragon Knight. He's actually not level 2. In comes Tide, suddenly unloads the Ravage. That's going to connect on, it looks like just the Dragon Knight he found. He refreshes and tries to go, but he doesn't really have any great targets here. Illidan's caught in the middle. 4. They've all been hit by an HF Apparition ult. E-Skill's going to fall first and foremost. Illidan now in hot and heavy pursuit, looking for Steph Style. I think he's going to find him here, and he waves it in. That's 3 dead. It's the refresher used up. It's 4. It could be a team wipe if they can just cancel this 8 Mother TP. He barely makes his way out. What a disaster.
Okay, now they're praying for a 1-minute Roshan respawn.
That's going to be most of Illidan's. Ethereal Blade, Ancient Apparition now on his way to his
I don't know
level 3
what the hell
ultimate.
happened to Tidehunter. He died from like 700 HP. I saw him refresh. He got DK stun, and I was like, okay, he'll just crack in and pop his ultimate, and then boom, he just got hit like a truck. I think it was Nature's Prophet with a Wrath of Nature plus a Shadow Blade hit at the same time. So they just had such a well-coordinated burst. And
the one thing, though,
right
was
even
even though he refreshed, there was like only the Dragon Knight next to him. Dragon Knight with BKB. Morphling was in the middle of 4 Coast Heroes, Illidan was, and the Disruptor was like way off to the right, I think, out of range, and yeah, Prophet, he didn't know where he was, so maybe they wouldn't have actually been able to get the initiation. Anyway, Tide will Ravage, but gets glimpsed directly back, and there's no follow-up for this, it feels. Sunstrike comes in, Arrow will connect on G, then he gets dusted. They might bring down the Dragon Knight, so not too shabby.
they get the gem too.
They get the gem as well. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Well, now Coast can take out Roshan. So VP praying for a 3-minute Roshan respawn now, and now they will not get it. I don't really know why they threatened that.
Can you do that? Can you just change your prayers like that?
Apparently. Well,
how do you think the Dota gods look on that? I feel not too kindly.
So now this is an easy Roshan, and that's just really bad timing from VP. I think they could have just at least healed up and then go for a Roshan, because what do they get up in that? They get a Glyph and 300 damage, 500 damage on a tower, or a DK and a gem and a Roshan. That is definitely not a worthy trade, but a ultimate will come out. Will only connect on 2, and that will not deter them.
Yeah, it does give them a bit of vision here. Arsart split pushing top in the meantime, and up to 4,700 gold. So, getting to the point where Prophet could actually just start right-clicking Coast down in teamfight. Sure, he's not really supposed to be their one-position hero, but the beauty of this Tricore is that Arsart can become the carry. And finally, at long last, Illidan has his shotgun. It might be late, but there are still some easy targets to pick off here. The Chen, the Rubik, the 2 main ones.
Rubik is not easy.
That's true. He did steal this.
And he has max null field. He has 1550 HP. He's actually super hard to kill. I think he has highest HP out of anyone.
I think with AOL and shotgun they can still
with
kill
AOL, yes. Well, Morphling only has 900 HP too, and he doesn't have buyback, so he has to be extremely careful about his target selection and positioning.
Yeah, easy is an exaggeration, but at least the threat's there now. Plus, they also have the Prophet who can TP in. And
I think it's worth it to sacrifice his life for Invoker at this point. But well, Invoker has BKB, so he's not that vulnerable.
Well, Coast, at this point, I wouldn't say their lineup's completely fallen off, but this is the stage of the game where, despite the great start, it does start to slip a bit. Heroes like Chen, Rubik, not going to offer you as much at this stage of the game. Rubik could if he steals Ancient Apparition ult, but or maybe Glimpse Static Storm. Outside of that, yeah, he's tanky, but can he really do as much as the AA does in these upcoming fights? It's up to the spell steals, and then you've got to carry like Mirana, who needs a ton of farm to equal a Morphling or a Dragon Knight, and is nowhere close to that level of farm.
AA's picked up a lot of Illidan slack, though. AA is actually #1 on net worth now, has leapfrogged ahead of the Invoker, and Morphling's still sitting around that #3, #4 territory. But the problem is, Mirana, as you said before, is just super underfarmed. He has BKB, drums, and a hammer, and he was the recipient of the last Aegis, but still, I mean, he just doesn't have any space to farm at all, because Ghost has just been straight 5-manning, and with Mirana out alone, they pretty much know that Team Coast is trying to 5-man it again. The Rax is almost regenerated to full. Glyph is still up.
How many buybacks do we have on VP? That's my other big question.
They don't have one on Morphling. They have one on DK and NP. So I think they should be okay as long as Illidan doesn't be super reckless.
Well, from the side is the Morphling. Illidan is looking to sneak his way in. He's outside the base currently. Dragonite will pop his ult. Already the Rack's down pretty low. Illidan with the replicate there is looking for a shotgun target. Will he find a viable one? He goes on the Tidehunter actually, forcing out the mech, then waves out immediately. Meanwhile, the arrow from 8 Mother, but it won't even come close to finding him. Illidan actually replicated to the fountain. And the Rax, it's at half HP. Glyph was used. Not too bad for Coast on their first go.
Yep, the DK Ultimate will be down in, I guess, 40 seconds. I don't know why he just didn't replicate that. I don't know why he's going for a shotgun. There's no good target for him.
Uh-oh. They've gone in on 8 Mother. They quickly bring him down with the Static Storm there. He will fall. Does have the Aegis. He'll come back now, but it's E-skills they've really got to be worried about. If they just get off a few more right clicks, he will fall. He's sent back. But that means the push is over. I'll actually buy a TP scroll at Fountain. And then sell it looks like. Yeah, that's...
Oh, Frigolite actually going to get caught out. AA?
Oh, he's looking for the opening, Solon, and running around, and will get stunned up. Now slow by the Dragonite. Can't run from this one, and he will go down in the end. So, Aegis popped. They did use their Glyph. That's about it.
The way VP is positioned in this fight is just really, really good, though. Is G up in front, so if they want the Tidehunter Ravage, he's going to get pretty much nobody unless he waits for them. By that time, VP will pop their BKB. So it's either you go on the Dragonite alone or you let him take down all the Necro creeps and clear the whole entire creep wave, where that's your best opportunity with the Necro 3. So, and everyone's just like really far behind A, sitting really far behind, so he gets a big A ultimate. Morphling huddling around the edges so he can shotgun somebody too. So I like VP's positioning a lot. If they clump up, get hit by 3-man Ravage without BKBs, it's an easy way to lose a fight.
Yeah, they push in the lane. They're not going to fully commit, and thus they're not vulnerable to that big Ravage you mentioned. But it's still... That was Coach just picking up their Aegis. They throw it away. They only force out a Glyph. No buybacks, and... Yeah, I guess the Dragonite had to use his BKB, but...
VP should win this game just by heroes, by mass BKBs versus Ravage, by Potom not having any farm, by Team Coast constantly 5-man not finding anything else. So... Like, VP definitely have the edge, and if they lose this, it's not a throw, it's just, like, they have to make a lot of misplays in order for it to happen, or Team Coast has to have, like, huge, huge Ravages from Solon.
Yeah, at this point, Coast is... I wouldn't say they don't control the game anymore, but it's... If played perfectly by VP, or even well by VP, it's almost impossible for them to win. But that doesn't mean that VP won't make mistakes. We certainly saw some earlier this game, and... A timely Hex before a hero gets off BKB. Maybe the Morphling dies without buyback. That could spell doom for them. They are leading by a melee Rax already, and the Rax are exposed mid, so you can't count them out just yet. They'll push straight down the middle lane again, not bothering to wait for that 4th Roshan. It's a long way off. 4.5 minutes to go, it looks like. And Coast will threaten to break high ground here. They throw Alacrity on the Necro minion, and the push commences again. This time focusing on the range Rex, not the melee. In comes the Tide. He gets off the Ravage. That's on 3. Rearming the Ravage. He lets the second one fly. They do bring down 2, the Dragonite and the Disruptor. They've also lost the range. Illidan, I think, got out of there before that second Ravage came through, and now is chasing. They want to get some return kills here. They want some vengeance. He'll waveform in over the top. He has a replicant available, but gets arrowed. Illidan will go down again, Steph style, trying to fight his way out, but it's G with, well, not in his full dragon form. Not particularly scary. Arsart trying to carry this team, throwing them on his back, it looks like. Diving E-skills now, who's making his way out. The shotguns here. The Morphling also bought back for this. They only lost the range Rex thus far. They do get 3, but a lot of
They get a Rex in return, though.
And bottom lane did get pushed in.
But what the heck was that, G? Why would you, or Illidan, why would you go in without, oh my goodness.
He's just, he's so aggressive.
He is super aggressive. Morphling, it's nice to get kills, but your priority is to stay alive in team fights, unless you're trading your life for someone else's who's more important, but no one on Coast is more important. Maybe Invoker, I suppose, but he was not even close to killing him.
At this point, Illidan, to me, is not actually the carry at all. It's the Ancient Apparition who is, and maybe the Prophet.
AA is almost doubling up Illidan's net worth. Doubling.
Oh, you mean Arsart. I meant Ancient Apparition. But yeah, he's got double Crystallis. Both AAs, Ancient Apparition and Arsart, those are the carries for this team.
What?
He's going in for the shotgun, though. If that Ancient Apparition ult hits, well, might have shattered before the Kraken.
Oh, Illidan.
That's rough.
Yeah, AA is just massive.
This
bro.
is...
He's so big.
Arsart's so farmed, he just like casually buys double Crystallis. Didn't
Yeah.
want to have to go... Just wanted some extra damage for that fight and didn't have access to the secret shop and time to get complete a Daedalus, so... I actually don't mind that play. Crystallis is pretty cost-effective damage. But
Yeah, I think they could use an AC, though, if DK's not going to get it.
yeah, I mean, I don't think you should upgrade both of these, but...
Why not?
Uh,
At this point, I mean...
double Daedalus profit.
He needs buyback for sure, though, so we won't see double Daedalus for some time. So, Coast pretty close to closing this game out. They need one more Aegis and Cheese. I think on the back of that, that's pretty much do or die. If they don't get it with that, it's... Unless Illidan just straight dies again and buys back and doesn't really do anything.
Let's not forget that VP used some buybacks in that last fight. They are missing Morphling and Dragon Knight rebuys for this engagement.
That was a great initiative by them.
Invoker did use his as well.
They can't let G fall early. I think they need 4 staffs on like Disruptor or AA. Oh, actually, AA does have a 4 staff right now.
They're going in again. They want this melee Rax. No glyph available, I believe, still cooling down, and they'll just once again pop Alacrity on that melee Necro, just slamming down this melee rack. They drop the Static Storm, the Kinetic Field, and it actually catches absolutely zilch. Solo perched on the low ground. He has the double Ravage, and they'll lose the melee Rax. Now they find Jodam. Does have a buyback available if needed, and it will be needed, I believe, as he goes down immediately with the buyback. The VP going for a bit of a base trade scenario here. They haven't taken the melee racks, and the TPs out happen, but AA has not left yet. Arsart standing strong. Meanwhile, Coast losing some heroes on the backside of the fight. They do lose one at their own base. The BKB pump from the Dragon Knight. They got the melee racks top lane, and VP are looking to close it out with some what can only be described as rat Dota. Arsart now running through the trees, goes for the teleport out. It's too late. 8 Mother will bring him down, and all of a sudden, the number of available buybacks is getting very low.
I think he just stands and man fights 8 Mother there. He has so much more damage than him. There's no way he's going to be able to get a 3-second TP. But if he gets like 2 crits, that's a kill. And he can potentially just turn the game around right there. I'm surprised he went for that play instead.
Hey, end of the day, they've got 2 melee racks and 2 range racks against 1 melee rack, or sorry, 2 melee racks and 1 range rack. So VP, in terms of base race, are actually leading
the problem
here.
is they don't have Roshan control. I'd say if they have Roshan control, they're in a good lead.
Arsart shooting that, or sorry, the Ancient Apparition ult coming towards the top lane. I thought I might go for someone in the fountain, but actually everyone pretty healthy.
Roshan is just so important right now. VP can't give another free one up.
At that point, I think you just see Coast throw bodies at the base. They take mega creeps, they use buybacks if they need to, and then they just turtle in their base until the buybacks cool down and go for the win.
Illidan
It's close.
Illidan needs way more items.
I feel like this game will be decided before he gets more items, though.
Yeah, I think he needs like BKB plus like Scotty or BKB Manta or something like that. BKB Scotty probably better, but
He had these same items at 35 minutes. And he's added 19... He's got 1900 gold. He's had to buy back a lot. He's had a lot of deaths. And he hasn't had an Aegis Torque with this game, which, considering the way the game started, I expected they would be the ones with Roshan control. Split push with the Prophet, have your invincible triple BKB core in the mid game, but that's not the
so it
case.
looks like bottom lane is pushing out. Arsart does have his Daedalus completed. He can TP down there if he wants to right now before CSC gets to the base. I think he needs to do that, but at the same time, he doesn't have a TP scroll either, so that's 20 seconds.
20 seconds there. If he had gone immediately when you said it, I think it's okay, but now if he goes for it, it might mean that they're fighting this without the Prophet in the deciding moments.
Kos is trying to go... Ooh, this is cheeky. This is all in.
They're making their move up the ramp on the bottom lane, but the reaction's coming. Arrow will come through. It connects on NS. Dragon Knight immediately popping the Dragon Form. They'll Sunstrike NS. They ravage him as well. He's nearly dead. The double ravage is coming. G is going to fall. I don't believe he has a buyback ready. The Disruptor will come back, but there's no Dragon Knight for this fight. The Chen will as well, and it's all in from Coast. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Arsart going for the GG of his own. He's trying to bring down the melee racks. The creeps are approaching the tier 4s. They are driving Coast back, and they have taken their 5th racks of the game. There's a TP out attempted. Meanwhile, they've held strong on the bottom lane, so it looks like in the end, VP are going to dodge a bullet here. Dragon Knight actually didn't have buyback gold. He was 85 gold short, even when the timer expires right now.
That's a big win for VP.
Arsart is putting his team on his back.
He really is.
Admiral Bulldog would be proud. He's probably sleeping now in China, but were he here to witness it.
One melee Rex left. That's it.
That's
close.
close.
It for TST.
This could well come down to a base race. It really could.
VP, I think they can take Roshan out. They can just pressure the side lanes with AA, and then whenever they commit... Oh, they're actually going for it right now, actually. And Coast, how many ravages they have? They have only 1 up.
Yeah, he did use... Yeah, it's finally cooled down, but... I don't know. It might be too late. They'll buy back now. They're going to stream towards the Roshan pit. 5 heroes moving down the mid lane.
Still, AA is just putting so much pressure on them, though. Like, he's forcing them out of their base right now. He's forcing them out of their comfort zone and take fights that they don't really want to.
Guess who's gotten caught mid lane? It's Illidan. He gets Test of Faith. He's probably going down here. Barely replicates out at the final hour. Oh, he's playing it so dangerously. He does have buyback now, I suppose, but jeez.
You don't want to put your team in that position.
If I'm Virtus Pro, I'm like, Illidan, please, no.
Well,
no,
Roshan is big and bad. Oh, steps out.
Here comes the Prophet. He's TP'd in mid. He's going straight for the melee racks, and, well, it's actually dropping quickly here. He will Shadow Blade out. He's still got a buyback if he needs it, and now this opens up the Rosh a bit. Though, Frigolite will catch him, and looks like Arsart may go down for nothing, perhaps feeling the pressure. He'll buy back instantly.
Oh.
And now if he dies again, maybe this goes the other way.
Why doesn't he just BKB TP, or BKB Shadow Blade TP? Like,
was this BKB available?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What is going on here, VP? I thought AA
the
was
hour is late, I suppose. It's not actually late. It's 7 p.m. there. I have no idea. Well, 9 p.m. in Russia, perhaps. But.
AA soloing Roshan right now. Double Ravage is up in 20 seconds time.
And Arrow's ready. They can maybe go for this Rosh Snipe. It's going to drop before everyone gets here. They'll have to commit if they want it. Morphling takes the Aegis.
Why did he take the Aegis? Give it to AA. He doesn't have buyback. Oh my gosh. Illidan, more throws.
I guess they're just glad to finally have a Rosh.
Give him the cheese at least. Does he have cheese? Okay, he has cheese. It should have been the other way around. Cheese on Morphling, Aegis on Nature's Prophet. So, but at least they do secure the Roshan.
Despite that, yeah, he doesn't buy. I still feel like Illidan's more likely to die. So, and I guess now he can buy a BKB.
Who cares if Illidan dies?
Oof.
I mean, he doesn't do anything.
I don't.
He has BKB now, anyways.
Here comes Solon. He's got a Ravage. He'll let it fly, but not before G gets off his ultimate. Illidan is going to start melting. He's pushed back by a Deafening Blast. Is still alive, and Arsart comes in from the side. He's standing strong. He brings down one. The Rubik's going to buy back. The Morphling jumps forward. Illidan finding the openings there. It'll be a second kill, but there's a second Ravage. Reinforcements have arrived, but no follow-up damage. Now Solon's going to fall, and this looks like it might be it for Coast. Without more buybacks, without more Ravages, what can they actually do? Finally, they're getting some kills here. Step Style falls. It's a triple kill for Arsart. Sunstrike just dodged as Illidan actually replicates deep behind enemy lines. There's no Rex there. Arsart finds himself an ultra kill. He's looking for the Rampage. He's gonna find it. He gets it. Rampage for Arsart. Well deserved, I must say.
What a carry.
And Arsart showing that he not only can play a mean support, but when push comes to shove, he can play a mean carry too. Tide will blink in, but it's just stalling from Solon. And VP, it's a double Rampage. Arsart gets his 6th kill of the team fight, and it'll end on that note. VP, can't say it was solid, but they do scrape out a win here in Game 2. And Coast, the darling of many of the Western Dota fans, unfortunately, the road ends here for them. They will not be going to the International this year.
Arsart. Wow, such a stacked Nature's Prophet. He put so much pressure on Coast. He pretty much did Morphling's job and then some.
They're not gonna beat Roxkiss if Illidan plays like that.
No, absolutely not. He needs to learn to play passively, learn to farm up, and learn to fight when he absolutely needs to.
It was like a Jekyll and Hyde act. Like Game 1, I think he had one situation where he just overextended. Like, what is Illidan doing? But that game there was like 6, 7 moments.
Give him a super tanky hero like Doom.
Jeez. Well, guys, that concludes the final match for today. Tomorrow we have the lower bracket finals, as well as the grand finals. We are down to 3 teams. But with that being said, Basekip, you were observing all those games for us. Great work, by the way.
Thank you.
Very impressive. 9.8. You've been upgraded after that.
Oh wow, I'm getting there. Almost to 10.
Almost at Fogged level. You're close.
They're
but
very close.
What do you think about the games? How do you feel about this VP team? Do they have a shot tomorrow?
I think so. I think if VP can keep it together and show us again the level of play that they showed in Game 1, then I think they're probably in with a chance. Game 2, a little bit more of their old form. Almost lost that game. Losing that Rax at top was just, what on earth happened? Nobody came back to defend. Tier 3 was dead before TPs even started.
And they weren't doing, like that time they weren't doing anything. Arsart was later trading, but they were just farming.
They were just in 2 different lanes doing their own thing. So that was very close.
Raxes aren't important.
No, not when you've got Morphling and Nature's Prophet, as it turns out. And when you've got Arsart on Nature's Prophet as well. What a performance from him. Like you guys were saying during the cast, absolutely put the team on his back for sure.
The Inch Apparition play was pretty solid as well. I thought the rest of the team played
Fast
okay.
Ags. I mean, he got some really solid farm.
But AA was definitely the carry, whether it's Arsart or Inch Apparition.
G played really well too, though.
Yeah. He got caught out a few times. I wouldn't say he played the best. He played well enough.
That's his job,
Yeah.
though. Like he's there to tank the Ravages. He's there to tank the Sheep.
Yeah, and he also
So-
BKB dodged quite a few Ravages,
Yeah,
which was very important.
He was just so important to both these wins, I feel.
Basekip, any additional thoughts on VP? How do you think they match up against Rock's Kiss, like strategically? The way they're drafting, just the way they're approaching games?
I think the one thing for Rocks that they've had trouble with, obviously, is their decisions as far as high ground pushes are concerned. So maybe that's the one place where they could fall down a little bit versus VP. But I think for Rocks, they've also got confidence in terms of the early game push strats, and that could be where VP just get completely bowled over. And then also talking about just VP versus Rocks in general, like Go Black as a captain, he's super familiar with everybody in the European scene, and so I feel like he's got good strats going in.
And he's very familiar with VP. I mean, these are a lot of like your big name CIS players. He's played with a lot of these guys. He's played against them a lot, so he's not going to get caught off guard, I feel. Whereas I think VP could get caught with their pants down in a draft. The other thing is VP seem to have trouble finding the right mixture of greed and early game fighting power at times. Like, the Morphling went for the early Lincoln Sphere this game, kept on trying to fight before he got Lincoln Sphere. They went for the double Shadow Blade. It could have really cost them if Coast had executed a little bit better.
He just plays the same way no matter what hero he is. That's really what I feel like. So I think if they just draft him an early fighter that can tank and can scale late, it's okay.
Okay.
But
so heroes like, I don't know, Lifestealer, Weaver.
Yeah, those guys.
Marana.
Doom.
Doom would be good, actually. I was surprised they didn't consider one.
I think
this
they should
game.
just pick him Doom every game.
That's the safe bet.
It is a safe bet. Like, what can you go wrong?
Doom's actually a hero that I could see Rock's Kiss just banning, because I don't know. It's something they actually ban fairly
VP
often.
can just take a first phase.
That's true.
But I think that is going to be pretty important. Illidan, he has to change his playstyle, or they just have to give him better heroes that suit his playstyle.
Okay, guys, any closing thoughts here before we wrap things up? Basekip, unfortunately, you're leaving us today.
Yep.
Going back to Australia, you have studies to attend to, apparently.
Yeah, I couldn't squeeze in the final days, so that's it for me. Won't be here for day 4, but I've had an absolutely fantastic
Just
time.
leave the one ring with you. We need to take it. We need to take it beyond the summit to Mount Doom before the event's over. Of course.
I like the cosplay.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see you in it, but I saw pictures.
The Mudkip. Greg took some close-ups. What has Hip got some?
Yeah, Greg got the inside scoop.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
The paparazzi at the house.
Virtus Throw making it third place at least. That's pretty impressive.
It's more than I expected, though I have to say it hasn't been very solid. Like they've had really impressive games, and just some games where like, this is not the same team. A lot of it hinges on Illidan for me. I think he's by far their most inconsistent player.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yes.
I don't think many would disagree. It's not a very bold statement, but well, facts are facts. So, guys, with that being said, Basekip, thanks for joining us for the entire past 2 weeks. Of course, you can follow him at Basekip. We'll also be losing Conrad tonight, so that's at Quantum Pope. Actually, I think he already headed to the airport, and the NA hub is slowly dissolving, but we'll have one last hurrah tomorrow, guys. That will be the final day of European qualifier action. The winner, at the end of the day, the last team left standing, either Mouse, Rock's Kiss, or VP, are going to Seattle as the final qualified team. The second place team, be it whichever one of those three it turns out to be, will go as the final wildcard team. But with that being said, that wraps up today's coverage. The International 4 European qualifiers are racing towards a conclusion. One more day to go. Who's going to Seattle? We'll find out tomorrow. Thanks for watching. We'll be back.